First of all, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast and for taking time out of your day to talk to me. I've heard so much about you, and yeah, I just can't wait to get started. So,
Thank you.
could you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Yes, so my name is Versatile G. I'm a talent manager, A&R. I work with a lot of independent artists. I work with a lot of signed artists, major labels. I make a lot of things happen behind the scenes. So,
Okay, cool.
people
Nice.
people call me like the P Diddy, the Clarence Avant, of the industry.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. I was obviously been reading a lot about you. But you started off as a musician. Can you tell me more how you transitioned from a musician to in the business side of everything?
Yeah, so this is kind of a funny story. The first song I ever dropped was in like 8th grade. I recorded it in a Wingstop bathroom. I had like two phones. I had the beat. Then I recorded myself on the other phone. And yeah, we had this like song. I don't even remember what it was about, but I gave it to one of my friends and they posted it in like a Facebook, like a big group with like 300,000 people in it. So like the next day when I came back to school, the song had like 6,000 views, and everyone in the school was talking about me at the point. I think I was in like 9th grade.
Oh my God.
Everyone was like, I was like the talk of the town that day, and I was like, "Yo, this is kind of crazy. Like, how did this blow up?" And then one of my friends was like, "Yeah, man, I put it in like this Facebook group and da da da." Then I started like thinking about, wow, like marketing is everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that was just kind of a crazy day. That kind of like jump started this whole like music career, and yeah, I kind of just started taking it more seriously like ever since then.
Wow, that's so insane and also a really adorable story.
Thank
That's
you.
so adorable. 8th grade talk of the town. So people called you the quote dot connector. Can you tell me more about that?
So yeah, I've been in the industry a long time. I know how a lot of things happen behind the scenes. So I've kind of like integrated myself. I've met a lot of powerful people and just told them my story, and then they respect me immediately. Boom. It's very easy to, connect with people at the top when there's like no facade in the story. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So yeah, like I've been to the Grammys. Like I've met like Dave Chappelle, Quincy Jones, Erica Badu. Like I remember I told Quincy Jones my story. He gave me his business card and was like, "Hit me if you ever need me." You know what I mean? Like the craziest things like have happened to me because I've just realized like, wow, like this is a moment in time, and if I don't, take advantage of this, or if I don't do something now, it may never happen again. That's kind of how I think a lot of the time. So, I've gotten into like a lot of like big industry parties and, a lot of like secret meetings and stuff. And, I just hold my own weight. They're like, wow, this kid's so young. He knows so much. Like we need him on the team. It's kind of what happens all the time.
I think it's awesome that you know your self-worth and that you have a drive to just put yourself out there. I would say also the confidence to do so. I think a lot of people, when it comes to their talent, whether it be artistry or it just be business wise, they're just so scared to show it or
Mm-hmm.
to do any of that like their talent's never shown. So I feel like the difference between people who are famous and people who aren't is just like the drive and the willingness to put yourself out there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like I try to do a lot of things now just to like bring me back to reality. You know what I mean? Like the fame and all that stuff is cool, but man, I want to go back to like 10 years ago when, nobody had phones and I was playing PlayStation 2 all day. You know what I mean? Like the little things really mean a lot to me and they keep me grounded, so I just try to instill that in people that I work with or, any people that I meet.
You kept saying your story, your story, your story. When you mean by your story, just like how you got from being a kid who just kind of recorded a song to entering the music industry, or is there
Well,
more
it's
to
way
your
deeper than
story?
that.
Yeah.
So pretty much like when I was a kid, I was like infatuated with Michael Jackson. Like kind of everybody was, but I did a lot of like dance competitions and talent shows. And when I was a kid, I used to think that I would never win anything. I would just always get close to winning, and I was like, man, I don't know if this is for me or whatever. But I remember, I think it was 6th grade. It was like a 6th grade talent show, and I did the song "You Rock My World" by Michael Jackson. I performed like the whole time. I think it was like 6 minutes or something. I was like dancing and doing all this stuff, and I won. I'll never forget like the moment. It was like my whole class, everybody was around, parents and teachers and everything. And I remember the feeling of like, oh my God, like this is like, amazing. Like I'm performing and people are watching me. So I started doing it more and more. My mom started putting me in like different dance competitions and like little events. Like, you know, she would wake me up early in the morning and not even tell me where I was going. She'd be like, put on your Michael Jackson stuff. And I'm like, okay. So then like, you know, I did a lot of, you know, award shows, and, you know, there's something in DC that is called the Golden Scissors Awards that happens like every year. You know, I performed in a lot of those when I was a kid. So I just started like realizing like, okay, you know, the talent is in me, it's not on me. You know what I mean? Like, like a lot of people are like shy and they're afraid to like, you know, show their talent. But me personally, I feel like the more I show people, the more like other people will realize that they have it in them as well, you know, and they can start like making better decisions for their life, or, you know, doing things that they really want to do. But when I was 6 years old, I was like the poster child for Children's Hospital. You know, so I've done like photo shoots and all that shit when I was a kid, you know, and I kind of realized like, oh, wow, like, you know, I'm the guy, you know, kind of the more the older I got. And I used to think it was like cockiness, but I was like, no, this is confidence.
How did the pandemic like halt your, did it halt your growth, do you think, as a music marketer? Do you think you just had to adapt to the situation?
So personally, I was working with a lot of TikTokers, and I was doing a lot of like on the social media side. So I felt like during COVID was the time everybody wanted to like, you know, show that they were talented, or, you know, whatever. So everybody was really trying to like market themselves and really get on people's phones more. And I used to talk to people all the time. I'm like, look, this is the best time to like push anything that you're, you know, really confident about, or anything that you're trying to show people, because everyone is on their phone right now. You know, people aren't working, they're home, they're, you know, on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're scrolling all day. So if you can, you know, show up on people's phones and grab their attention for 2-3 seconds, you got them, you know? So that's kind of like what I specialize in. Like, I've worked with a lot of TikTokers, you know, I have a network of over like 300 million, you know, people that I've like worked with and helped and stuff like that. So, yeah, I know a lot of like the algorithms and, you know, just like the little stuff, you know, it's kind of like, say if we were executives like at a big company, right? We would want all the kids, like any kid that's like blowing up, we would want to talk to them like, how are you doing it, you know? But it's like kids have the answer, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, kids have this imagination that never really stops. And when we're adults, you know, we have to pay bills and we have to worry about this and that. And, you know, so it's like we lose that creativity, we lose that imagination, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's honestly nothing more informative and pure than a child's perspective, because they just think of it, they think of everything without seeing the real world.
Exactly. And then, you know, 9 times out of 10, boom, they try something and it just pops, it works, you know? So yeah, I tell everybody we gotta stay true to that kid inside of us, you know, because when we lose track of that kid, then, you know, we really lose who we were.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I'm pretty deep sometimes, you know, so it helps in conversations.
People's eyes just like glaze over. You're like, huh? No, I love it. I love how deep you are, because I prefer people. I mean, I haven't had this experience, thank God, on the podcast yet, because people go on a podcast pretty talkative to begin with, and they just kind of sit, and like when you're just going off and talking about how passionate you are about something, I just get to sit back and just sit here and just see you pop off, and it's like one of the most beautiful things ever. So thank you for existing.
No, thank you for existing too.
Aw. What was it like meeting Dave Chappelle? How did you make that connection? I mean, I understand it's all about making connections, but for an independent artist, they're probably like, how do I even do that?
Funny story. So it was at a Universal Music Group party, and what happened was, so I walked up in this party, right, and there was like all these like celebrities' names on the wall. I'll never forget it. They were like engraved in the wall. And then what happened was like I walked in and I realized like everybody was like talking about Dave, Dave, Dave. So I was like, okay, there's only one Dave everybody was talking about. So Dave was like walking through the party, and like maybe for like 30-45 minutes, like everybody just tried to like interact with him. Everyone tried to talk to him, and he kind of just like did spin moves and like jukes to get away from people. So I was like, look, there's only one exit. Boom, I have a brain, he has a brain. He has to leave through this door. So I waited by the door for like 40 minutes, right? And then once he was leaving, his security guard tried to like push me away a little bit, but I was like, hey, bro, like I'm from Silver Spring too. So like, I grew up in Montgomery County, And one of the counties there, or the place there is called Silver Spring, and that's where Dave Chappelle was actually born. So like, yeah, once I said that, I would like tap into his inner kid, So I was like, yo, bro, like I'm from Silver Spring too. And once he said that, he kind of just stopped and like smiled, and he cracked a joke or two, and then we just talked. And I was like, yo, bro, like, can I get a picture with you? And he was like, yeah, man. He was like, I had to get out of there. Like, they were trying to kill me. They're like, bro, it was so funny. Like, I'll never forget it. And I had my DJ with me at the time. So he was like 18 years old. I like snuck him in this like exclusive like Grammy party. And it was just really cool. Like, it was one of those like moments in time where it was like, man, this is really cool, And then shoot, right afterwards, I met like Quincy Jones. And then like I looked up and Erykah Badu was like DJing the party. I was like, yo, this is like insane. Like, yeah, it was really wild. And like, I still have a lot of connections like from that day. That was in 2018, January 2018. The Grammys were in New York for the first time. I would always look at like how people were dressed, or like, their demeanor at the time. And I would know, because I know fashion and I know entertainment, like, okay, boom, if I'm in a place where everybody is somebody, this guy in this suit is definitely somebody, you know what I mean? And then I kind of just like, network, mingle, and boom, it always works. It always worked.
With this job, I guess, like, where do you find fulfillment in this job? Like the moment where you're like, this is what I should be doing. Like, I'm like this, I know I've built for this job. Is it seeing the people that you have helped build up, they like make their big break?
Yeah, pretty much. So I've worked with like a lot of people, and it's kind of cool. Like, damn, it's really interesting. Like, I've worked with Grammy winners. I worked with, multi-platinum selling artists and stuff like that. And a lot of people may not know that I'm the one who kind of like makes everything look amazing behind the scenes. But it's even better because, say if I walk in a room with this person, they're 4-time Grammy nominated, they take me to the biggest person and go, yo, G's the guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like that fulfillment that I've always wanted my whole life, like, when I was a kid, I always used to talk about where I would be, or like I said, it was that cockiness / confidence in me. I'd be like, like, you guys need to treat me like a certain way because I'm gonna be with the stars. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, bro, whatever, bro. You know what I mean? And then like the older I got, the more I realized like, wow, like, it's in me. If you're really doing the right things, you'll always connect with the right people, So yeah, it feels really good. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing a lot of people, hit their goals, or, do something that they've always wanted to do. I'd say by the time I was like 20, I really accomplished like everything I ever wanted to. I had like a bucket list when I was a kid. And I used to be like, man, like, I want to go skydiving, or like, I want to do this, or I want to do that. Man, by the time I was 20, I did everything, on the list. So now it's like, man, I just want to like help people, achieve their goals and really just do what they want to do. Because I'm so young still, but I've accomplished so much. You know what I mean? So like when I'm in LA, or, if I'm in New York or DC or wherever, if I walk in a room, and it's like a bunch of important people, they know me already. So it's kind of like, it's like a cool thing. I like sit in the back with my shades on, and then someone will come up to me. They're like, yo, are you G? I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh my God, like, I need help with blah, 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 or something. And I'm like, okay, like, let's figure it out, But yeah, it's kind of always like pushed me in the right direction. I don't really like work with people for money, or, whatever. Like, I do it out of integrity. Like, I can like look in someone's eyes and tell, like, if they want to be like a one-hit wonder, or, if they want a 5 minutes of fame type thing, or if they really want to make this a career. Yeah, it's something that makes me feel better at the end of the day.
Can I just say that I love your confidence? I know like you just went off, and I will talk about that later in a second, but like, I love how much you know yourself, because so many people confuse confidence and cockiness, and then that and arrogance. And like, I'm just so happy to talk to you, because like, you're one of the very few people who truly know themselves and believe in themselves. So thank you for that. And when you say 5 minutes of fame, one hit wonder, you're saying that there's people out there who just like, they're cool with just having something like famous like happen once, and they're just like done.
Yeah, they get the feeling that they've always wanted, and then they're just kind of like done. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny sometimes. Like I'll talk to a lot of kids, and they have like this this feeling inside of them. They're like, man, like, oh, I want to be the biggest, or nobody believes in me, and da da da. And then I'll talk to them like, look, yo, like, you're just like me. You know what I mean? Like, the feeling that I had inside of me 5-6 years ago, you're exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'll help you. You know, they're like, yes, yes, like, finally someone believes in me. I'm like, the thing is, like, sometimes people just don't want you to do better than them. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like a people thing. You know, everybody's always in competition with themselves, but you know, imagine like when you take the competition out of everything, then you're just doing it for the love of it, you know? And that's something that I try to like tell people all the time. Like, you know, if you really find something you love, or, you know, if you really love music, if you really love the performing arts or entertainment, you know, just do it. You know, don't overthink it. Don't try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, there's so many like content creators that I've worked with, and they've told me, yo, G, like, I think super hard on a video idea, or, you know, I try to do this and it never works. I'm like, look, dumb it down. You know what I mean? You got to realize that like people have short attention spans, and like, you know what I'm saying? I majored in psychology. So like, I'm always thinking about the brain, you know, and the way people think and the way they, you know, process things. So I'm like, okay, if you're trying to like put 5 years of experience in one video to like show everybody you're super talented, don't do that. You know, put like a week of experience in a video, you know, and it's going to go viral. And then every time people like dumb it down, it always goes viral. And it's like, you know, I don't know what to say, but just dumb it down for the people, you know, like everyone's always trying to prove that they're so like talented, but the talent shows when you're consistent in what you're doing.
I mean, that makes sense though. I tried being a YouTuber. I that's like my dream job is to be a YouTuber slash podcaster.
Everybody's dream job is to be a YouTuber.
Literally, yeah, exactly. Like, exactly. It's everyone's dream job. And I started a while ago, and then I got like kind of a little bit like cyberbullied for it. So I like stopped.
Wow.
And like,
no, no. Once you start getting cyberbullied, that's when you know you're onto something, you know. And it's crazy because a lot of the biggest YouTubers I know, all their videos that have like a negative like bio or like caption or whatever, those are the ones that go viral. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was talking to my boy Solo, and one day he has like 300K on YouTube. And I was like, yo, what do I like caption this video? Like, what do I make it? He was like, put something with negativity, because people are going to immediately click on it if they think something bad happened. You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's like, you got to like manipulate the brain, or like, you know, you got to like put whatever message you're trying to promote in the video, but you got to show people, you know, that it's not so serious, you know, in a way.
yeah.
But yeah, like YouTube doesn't really pay much though. It's like the endorsement deals, the brand deals, sponsorships. You know what I'm saying? That's where like the real money comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like during the longevity of the things. A lot of people, they're just looking on the outside in. They don't really know what it's like to be a, you know, day-to-day content creator, or, you know, constantly think of ideas and things like that. You know, I talk to people with, you know, millions of followers all the time, and they're like, man, I don't know what to do for this video idea today. I'm like, you know, don't overthink it. Just be you. You know what I mean? Just vlog your life, or, you know, just show whatever. You know what I mean? Like I've been vlogging for the past year, and I have a crazy stuff on camera. You know what I mean? Crazy stuff. And I'm still trying to think about how to put it out.
I did want to also talk about, oh my God, your name, because your real name's Garrett, and you landed on the name Versatile G. Why Versatile G?
Perfect. I love that question. No one's ever asked me that. So boom. This is perfect. Okay. So I used to go by the rap name G Baby, right? I remember like how I got the name. I used to hang out with like my Uncle Blue a lot. Everybody calls him Uncle Blue, like where I'm from. He looks sad all the time, but he's not sad. He's like very wise guy. So everybody calls him Uncle Blue. I would chill with Uncle Blue like maybe for like 2-3 summers. And I was always hanging out with like older people, you know, and I was like the youngest one there. So they used to just call me G Baby. So I kind of like adapted the name. I was like rapping under that name. And, you know, one day I was in college, and I was just laying in bed, and I was like, man, like, I don't want to be called Baby forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, but look at it now, like 5 years later, there's so many rap, Lil Baby, Da Baby, you know, everybody's rapping under the Baby moniker, you know? And I'm like, damn, I just kind of thought to myself, I don't want to be called Baby forever. I got to come up with a cooler name. Like, how do I like change my name? Like, what's something that I am that I won't have to really think too hard about? So I was like, like, I don't want to be called G baby. What should I call myself? And then I was like, like I'm good at like almost everything. You know what I'm saying? I think I am. I was like versatile. And then I was like, you know what? Boom, I love it. And then, you know, my name is Garrett. So I was like, boom, G, versatile G. And I remember like I had a bunch of music videos out at the time. So I contacted like the videographers and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, change all the names of Versatile G right now. I was like in my mind, like, I was like, change it all to Versatile G right now. So like for like 2 hours, I contacted all these people who like I did anything with. And I was like, change it all to Versatile G. And they were like, okay, you know. And there's some people that know me still as like G baby, like close friends that I've had for years. And they're like, man, I'm gonna always call you G baby. They're like that name is too damn long, versatile. They'll joke around with me and stuff. And I'm like, bro, like I'm Verse now, like VG. But yeah,
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just funny. Like, shout out to my boy Young Moody. You know, he gave me that nickname BG, you know, so it's kind of just, you know, over
cute.
time, it just sticks, you know, stuff just sticks. But yeah, I used to think to myself, like, man, like, how can I show myself or what's a name that will stick over time? You know, it's like really like I'm versatile, you know, so it's kind of sweet.
I love that. Where'd you go to college, by the way?
Virginia State University.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fun. That sounds like a very
Yeah.
fun school. No, that's really cool. I've always wondered why people like you'll see some people on TikTok, they will like this one girl, her name was Princess Lauren as a Viner and then became Lauren Geraldo. And because
Mhm.
she's like, I just want to be known by my own name. It's like,
Her own name.
do you think there's an advantage by going by your own name and then having like an artist faux name?
I think so, but I think at it like I look at it like this, right? This is what I tell people all the time. If Drake were to drop socks, a brand new song, a backpack line, whatever, it's gonna sell out because of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like as long as your brand is like really strong, it doesn't really matter what the name is or you know what I'm saying. There just has to be integrity behind the brand. You know what I'm saying? And like the more and more you do, the more collabs, the more you know what I'm saying, the more you network with people, the more you get your name out there, people are gonna realize like, okay, boom, you know, this is a brand that is like solidified.
So you said you're a talent manager. Do you like book things for them or anything?
Yeah,
Or
so
okay.
pretty much like I have this like gift kind of where I can like see things in people before they see it. There's like a lot of people that I've worked with over the past couple of years. Like I've seen them and I'm like, look, you're gonna go viral. Like you're gonna be famous. Like just think about what you're trying to do and how you're trying to, you know, project it. And then boom, 2 weeks later they blow up or they get 1 million followers on TikTok or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't really know how to deal with it, but there's other people that know like, okay, boom, this is my time to shine. You know, let me just like, you know, show the world what I'm trying to do. Like we're in the entertainment industry, you know, so like a lot of people just sell dreams to people, you know what I mean? And they'll try to be like, oh yeah, you could be here, you could be there, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I've told people things like, hey man, in 6 months of going hard, you're gonna get everything you want. Boom, we get it done in 2. You know what I'm saying? Then they're like, oh my God, like they don't know how to deal with the fame and everything. I'm like, man, like you just got to take it a day at a time. Like, you know, a lot of people just want to see improvement. You know what I'm saying? Like they get the same results over and over and over again. They fail over and over and over again. And then boom, they kind of switch up something a little bit and then boom, they pop off.
Can you give an example of like a person who you recognized was like you will be famous or like you helped them switch up something and then they had like an amazing outcome as a result of something that like you've told them or helped them with?
There's like a lot of kids that I've worked with, a lot of people who have like a lot of dreams and ambitions. You know, I used to manage this kid named Swag Boy Q. He had 1 million on TikTok. Now he has like 16 million on TikTok. You know, he was always like really talented. And shoot, there's a kid named Sideshow Tay. I started managing him last like November. I remember I was on TikTok one day and I was like, yo, this kid has a funny face. Like he'll go viral. And then kind of like 3 weeks later, he went from like 200,000 to like 1.2 million on TikTok, and his whole life kind of changed. When I talk with these people behind closed doors, they're like, gee, you changed my life. And I'm like, man, that's just why I do this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's not about the money. It's not about none of that stuff. It's about the legacy. You know what I'm saying? It's about the integrity behind the brand and it's about the story, you know? Yeah, I've worked with a lot of people, a lot of musical artists. I'm saying done a lot of things behind the scenes. So a lot of like labels and sub labels and stuff like that reach out to me. I think the thing with me is like I never like treated anybody differently. I always treated everybody like the way they wanted to be treated.
Mhm.
So whenever I meet like a celebrity or blah 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 or whoever, I just treat them like they're a regular person. It works at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like it's so funny. I have like a story with my family where like one of my family relatives is like really like childhood best friends with Bill Murray, which is like
Wow,
crazy. Yeah.
wow.
And so like I'm at this wedding and like I'm also in like sixth grade. I'm like, I've never even seen Groundhog Day. Like Pokemon, if I met like Ash Ketchum,
Groundhog Day.
I would like freak out. Like I've never seen
Wow.
Groundhog Day, never seen Caddyshack. I'm in sixth grade, like Pokemon on the mind, like not even thinking about that shit. And
Ghostbusters.
yeah, exactly. And so, he's at this wedding and everyone is like, I don't know. I remember my mom being like, yeah, some people came try to talk to him and he was like, don't talk to me. But like I think people like most people at the wedding, they were like they just like stared at him. They like didn't say anything. They were just
Like, oh my God, he's there in the corner.
like he's there and I'm like and they're like and I will not recognize. I think a lot of people, which is weird, I've never seen this, either some people would be like, oh my God, or like the other half would just pretend like it didn't exist because they didn't want to bother him. And they would be like too nervous and
they'll mingle amongst them, amongst each other, like, oh my God, he's over there.
Exactly. And then like the dude's like, I can hear you. Like
Yeah, I can hear you. I have ears that work perfectly
literally
fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember it. I just remember like being like super young and like dancing with him and being like, oh my God, mommy, he's so funny. My mom's like, of course he's the funniest guy you've ever met. It's Bill Murray. Like, hello. But what is like what advice do you have for people who are independent artists? Like, say, like, obviously you don't want to like be a bother. Like, no one wants to bother anyone. Like, it's like, you see like Justin Bieber, like, Michelle Obama. You don't want to just go up and be like, oh my God, can I have a picture? Like, what's like a good, I guess, if you want to make a connection in the world, whether you see someone on the street or whether you're giving this connection, what's a good in between being like, oh my God, I love you, and like you don't exist, and I'm going to walk away and pretend like I don't know you.
Rule number one: don't fan out.
Yep.
Because that's the common thing. They're used to that. Rule number two: just be genuine. Genuine interactions. Pretend like it's like high school. You know what I'm saying? And you're introducing yourself to someone for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Don't like be so eager to like get your word out. Try to have a conversation. If someone's like obviously like walking fast or they're trying to get to somewhere, whatever, try to like shoot your shot real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like you miss all the shots you never take. You know what I'm saying? So just be genuine. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to overthink it too much. Just be you. It'll always work at the end of the day. Like I tell people all the time, if you're meant for this, you're gonna win. But don't try to like, make someone anxious or, attack them, the first time you meet them, whatever, just, calmly introduce yourself. Hey, it's nice to meet you. My name is blah, blah, blah. Boom. The conversation will always go the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But always be considerate of, whatever someone's going through. Like, you don't know if someone's having a bad day or, whatever. Like, I try to compliment people all the time. I'm like, hey, I love your shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like the first time I met Lil Nas X, I didn't know who he was. I was at a barbecue and I saw his shoes.
It's cute.
I was at a barbecue. I got invited to a barbecue. He had my favorite shirt on. It was like the movie called The Last Dragon. And I just went up to him and I was like, hey man, I love your shirt. I love your shoes, blah, blah, blah. He was really awkward. I walked away and I was like, damn, that was like really awkward. And then like 15 minutes later, I realized it was Lil Nas X. I was like, oh wow, like, that's interesting. Don't try to like overdo it. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's meant to be, it will happen. Divine timing is real. The law of attraction is real. Just do you and everything will work out.
What advice do you have when it comes to, I saw that you're really into, TikTok, Twitter, social media platforms that you're able to monetize.
Yeah, like, man, once I realized like social media is like just going to change the world. That's when I was like, yo, like, this is kind of crazy. Like, I know people who have never really had their big break, but they post one video on Facebook. It gets 100,000 views, 50,000 shares, and then boom, they have a career from that. So like, I tell people this all the time. And look, I'm about to give you some sauce. Okay. So like, the saying, everyone is always like, try to think outside the box.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You can do that for as long as you want to, right? But then sooner or later, you got to realize that there is no box. You can do whatever you want. I can like tiptoe with my fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like I can do whatever I want. I can jump up and down. Like we have so much power and we're capable of so many amazing things. If we really just sit down and think about them and plan it out, our lives will really unfold in front of us. I had 3 notebooks that I wrote in. I had one notebook. It was like a manifestation notebook. Then I had another notebook. It was like everything I knew, celebrities and, you know, important people I knew. And then the other one was just like things I wanted to like happen and, you know, stuff like that. And I would constantly write in these notebooks, like, and plan out the future and plan out like little things I would do. And I just felt like, you know, my job and my career just became 10 times easier. You know, I wasn't just like winging it every day. People don't know that we have the answer inside of us. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people just want to show their talent to the world and get that recognition. But, you know, if you do something for 5 years, you know, amazingly, imagine how many sets of eyes are going to come across what you're doing. It's not about like how many followers you have. It's about who follows you. Once you have one supporter, that person's going to tell 5 more people and then they're going to tell 10 more people and you're just going to blow. You know what I mean? Like you just got to work on everything you're doing slowly, slowly. And it's going to become like a snowball effect and you're going to win at the end of the day. I used to sit in a college dorm room and think about all the things that I've done in the past, like 2-3 years. Gary V, I used to watch his videos all the time. He gave me all this motivation. Boom. 5 years later, he followed me on Instagram. It literally just shows like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I tell people to focus on them more. Don't try to like focus on what everyone else is doing. Or if you know, like, you know, your best friend just went viral, blah, blah, blah. Don't try to take their sauce and like make it yours. You know what I'm saying? Like just do things organically.
I was going to say that I feel like so many people, they expect to be overnight sensations because there are seemingly overnight, like for example,
Overnight sensations
like Post Malone, like he when it was like White Iverson, and just like out of nowhere, like Lil Wayne was tweeting about it, and he was like, "What?" Like I was,
yeah, exactly.
And but like it seems, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that there's so much work to an overnight sensation.
Hey, 20 years overnight sensation.
Yeah, 20 years.
20 plus years as an overnight sensation.
Did someone find you, or did you just kind of do it yourself?
I kind of just did it myself. Like I had a lot of friends who were like big in social media, or I kind of just like slowly just built myself over and over and over again.
Why do you think people aren't able to, I don't know if it's remain humble, but like people who like randomly gain fame, why do you think that they quote like go off the rails? You know, it's like think of like Justin Bieber when everyone's like, oh, this kid's he's, you know, he's gonna, everyone was like expecting him to like go off the rails. I don't know why people were like predicting that before it even happened, but then it did happen.
It's because everyone's talking so negatively. Like they don't want to just let their life like live, you know, like it's kind of like how the world works. You know, everybody is like talking on the outside. They don't really know what's going on the inside. They don't know, you know, what Justin Bieber's life is like, or, you know, whatever. They just assume. Once you can't go outside and like, you know, have a normal dinner or, you know, go to the store or whatever. And it's like everything, people are looking for you to like do something outlandish. You got to just stay true to yourself. You can't really pay attention to the noise because the bigger you get, the more you do, the noise will get bigger and louder. You know what I'm saying?
People always say like never, what was it, like don't meet your heroes or something, like never meet your heroes. I've
met my heroes and it's kind of scary. It's
scary. Is it like because everyone says like, oh, it's like there's like this giant image in your head and then you meet them and maybe they don't make up to your expectation or whatever, or they're a certain type of way. And like for me, like as much as I want to be like, my idols are Ariana Grande, like I stand by that. I know all of her songs. Like I adore her messages. I adore her stance on mental health. I just adore her. And like
my friend's
aunt
was her tour manager.
That's very cool. But yeah. It freaks because, but it's like, you know, everyone's like, don't meet your heroes. And it's like, I'm not saying like, I really don't, it's not like I'm like, oh, she's not going to be who I think she is. Like, I'm just like, I wouldn't even know what to say. I'd be like, thank you for saving my life. And like putting out music that helps me. Just like, oh, I get that all the time. Thanks. No, but like, I get that all the time. Thanks. No, like I just get so nervous about like, I mean, even though I'm in Boulder, Colorado, in a college town, but like, I get nervous about like the thought of meeting heroes. What do you think about that? Or who was your hero that you met?
Shoot, Quincy Jones. When I met Quincy Jones, that was kind of like okay, boom, life is complete, you know? And then it's like, kind of like every year like something bigger or better happens to where it's like, wow, life is real. I remember when I was a kid, anytime I got like close to someone who knew Michael Jackson, I kind of would like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I'd kind of like, um,
Oh my
it was like
God.
a big thing for me. I remember when I was like 8 or 9, I met this lady who was like Michael Jackson's hairstylist for 25 years. And I remember
Ooh.
when I touched her hand, I was like, these hands have touched Michael's hair. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. And then just like kind of the older you get, the more you realize like, we're all just ordinary people. And if you're doing things off of integrity and you're meeting people, you know what I'm saying? And you're not like super eager or whatever, like everything will work out the way you want it to.
Another thing I noticed when I was in LA was that people would talk such a big game. It's like people who like have it or they got it, whether it's like money, fame, fortune. I feel like they won't talk about it, but then people who want it will just like hype themselves up a lot.
They're like, oh yeah, like, Michael Jackson's my neighbor's son, like
Cool.
what? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I tell you this, if they're trying to prove that they're the guy too much, they're definitely not the guy. A lot of people, they talk a good game, but they can't back it up. Definitely in LA, there's a lot of people who are like really opportunistic or whatever opportunity they can be in around. Now I just take everything with a grain of salt.
There needs to be a balance of like, I know myself, I know my worth, but you also can't go parading
Exactly.
around. And like, that's at least what I've noticed with people, because everyone's like, I'm the best. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, if you're swearing you're the best, there's something you're leaving out,
Yeah, exactly. So then
Let
how
the
do you,
work speak for itself,
okay, that
Let
was
the
gonna be my
work
next
speak for
thing.
itself.
Yeah. That was gonna be my next thing is like, how do you show yourself without being a dick?
Like, yeah, like there's a lot of people who they want to meet with me, and I set up meetings with people and stuff like that. And I may not be able to like get to them, or I don't know, I may miss the meeting or whatever. And it's like, it's not because like I don't want to work with you or something. It's like I'm busy. Follow up with me. You know what I'm saying? There's people that I was supposed to talk to months ago, years ago, and I still see them, from time to time, but we've never still had that like genuine conversation. And I know that once we have that, it'll just blow everything up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, first of all, thank you for taking the time to just talk to me. Like
No,
little
you're
old
awesome.
me. Thank
Your
you.
energy is awesome.
You seem like such a busy guy with all these connections, and I feel really grateful that you took the time just to talk to a startup marketing, because I know you know Andre, like a startup marketing company. And like it just speaks a lot to you that you're just like, it doesn't matter what position you are or who you are. You can have 20,000 followers, 1 follower, a billion followers. It seems like you're a person that you're like, I want to talk to you. It doesn't matter what your social status is.
I do a lot of stuff every day that if it was recorded and they put it on TV, man, they'd give me a Nobel Peace Prize. And like sometimes like I walk the streets at like midnight or 1 a.m. like downtown LA, where they say don't walk around, and I give away money, or I give away clothes, or I give away food, or I'll just talk to the people on the streets, you know what I mean? And I'll hear their stories, and it just grounds me. I'll walk down the street and I'll see like a random like teenage kid just like in a corner, just like rapping on a beat, you know what I mean? And I'm like, bet, like this person was put here for me to give them motivation. So I'll talk to the kid. I'm like, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. Like, have you made any music? To like, no, this is my first song. And in my head, I'm like, amazing. So I'll just talk to them for like an hour, and then, just giving them a bunch of advice, and they won't even know how much that, like who they're getting the advice from, you know what I'm saying? But I'll just try to tell them to like, stay true to themselves, cherish this, just do what you think is right now. And like I said, take everything with a grain of salt. You're going to find people, you're going to meet people, like people are going to come into your life because it's the right time.
I love how you preach the law of attraction, because when I was a while ago, I like my mental health was like all-time low. Like it was just like I was not well. Like I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to be alive. And my dad, he sat me down and he showed me this documentary about the law of attraction and how like if you're, if you everyone journal.
The secret.
I mean, yes, it's like, law of attraction, like it's like you're putting something into existence, but it's about sticking with it. It's like the guy, he had a notebook and he would just write down every day, like, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire. And he ended up being a millionaire. I mean, obviously to work for
then
it.
they end up being a millionaire.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it ends up happening, but it's like, yeah, it's not just like writing in a journal. I feel like it's just about like, it's not just writing in a journal 3 times a day saying I'm going to be a millionaire to become a millionaire.
I know a lot of people who have given up on their dreams, or, they get into the regular like status quo of life, and then they totally forget, that kid inside of them. Don't ever forget about the kid inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Because the kid will always tell you what you really want.
Would you say you have a good relationship with your faith?
Yes. So there's a bunch of things that like I've seen with my eyes that have literally like showed me I'm on the right path, And the more and more I realized what I was seeing, it made me realize, okay, I gotta just keep doing what I'm doing, you know. I won't let anything sidetrack me. I literally like used to sit down and think about things and and dream about things, and now I live them.
Was there a time you were like so starstruck that something had happened that you were just like extremely overwhelmed?
So when I was a kid, I think I was like 8, 9, something like that. My mom was like working an event in Baltimore. It was like a music festival. Brandy was there. There was like a bunch of like big like celebrity singers. I met this one dude and I was like, man, like I remembered his face, but I couldn't think of his name. So then I met him and I was like, man, like I love your work, blah, blah, blah. Like, but I couldn't remember where he was from. And then, I'm just like, I love your work, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Then I left, I went home, and a couple hours later, or like a couple weeks later, I realized like, oh, damn, that was blah, blah, blah from this movie, and it kind of just made me feel good that I met him. Fast forward like 10, 12, something years to a couple weeks ago, I seen the dude again. You know what I'm saying? So from his name is Chris Spencer. He's like a famous comedian. My friend, who's like 4-time Grammy nominated, he was performing at this event, and Chris Spencer was hosting it. And I was backstage, and I walked up to him, and I was like, "Yo, like, I know you don't remember me, but I met you when I was a little kid." I know he was in this like performing mindset, so he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was just talking to him. I was like, "Man, like how do you still look the same? Like what's your secret?"
You look like J-Lo skin. What's going on?
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was like, "Don't stress." It just felt so unreal in my heart. Like, wow, I met this dude when I was a kid, like super young. And now, boom, I met him 13, 14, something odd years later. And I get to have that like realization, like, wow, like I'm doing everything I wanted to do. And we're in the same place again.
I actually do have to log off, but is there anything else you wanted to say? Is like any lasting advice, I don't know, anything you want to add that I didn't touch on?
Man, stay true to yourself. Just know that if you really want something and you're working for it, you're going to get there. Life is it's a roller coaster. There's times that, life is downhill and then we go uphill and it's super fast. But I just want everybody to know that, life is what you make it, and just stay true to yourself, constantly try to, do the right things and release positive energy. Positive energy will always come back to you. And yeah, everything will work out the way you want it to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And where can everyone find you? Platforms? I don't know. I guess contact you or look you up. Plug your
So
music.
yeah, my Instagram is versatile G1. Yeah, you can find me on there. My Twitter is at versatile G _. Sometimes I'll have thoughts and I'll just like tweet something. But yeah, my email is versatilegt@gmail.com if anybody wants to email me. But yeah, I'm on Instagram like 24/7. So if you shoot me a DM, I'll probably see it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Versatile G. And it was such a pleasure talking to you. I've had the worst few days and you've just made it. So
hey, that's why I do this. You know what I'm saying? Like I just try to release positive energy and just get it back in the world. And it was really a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and God bless.
Hey, you too. Stay blessed.
Bye.